There was one more subject I wanted to hit on today, and that's depression with pregnancy and having kids. Um, this is something that I want to know more about and feel safer about. I'm still studying it, but for me, I want to have more kids, but I also want the kids that we have to be well taken care of, and I want to feel like a good mom always. And I, a lot of the time, feel so emotionally incapable and to be there for simple things that it's been a real struggle knowing how to balance antidepressants, psychology, or psychotherapy, and so I've really been trying to understand more. And so these are kind of some of the answers that I came across as I wanted to know if it's healthy and okay. Is it risky for the baby while you're pregnant to have antidepressants, and what kind of risks can go on there? Here it says the risks of antidepressants, generally speaking, are small and vary based on which specific medication is used, the dose, the duration of use, and when during the course of pregnancy the medication is used. Um, Kind of something that my doctor explained to me about that was a lot of the time medication that's considered risky, at least with the antidepressants, it can be a higher risk to start it when you're pregnant because your body's not used to it and hasn't been processing the way it can, and you already have so many hormonal things going on with pregnancy. So he said that if we started an antidepressant and felt like the emotionally was good and things were stable, that most of the time, um, again, you'll have to talk to your doctor about it with each specific person, but most of the time you will be pretty safe. There's always going to be risks, but they're very minuscule when you've started the medication before getting pregnant and you've been on it for a while and your body's used to it. Still, because of risks, still because risks do exist, experts recommend avoiding antidepressants or minimizing their use during pregnancy whenever possible. And so this was something that he said, like, because I wondered what does it mean whenever possible? Because anybody can go off of it, but it's a big struggle to get on and off the medication. So he was just kind of saying if circumstances bring on depression or if it's episodes that you have, then they might recommend going off of it again. But for somebody that has depression like constantly, that usually that won't be something that they recommend doing. The other thing to take into account if you're trying to have kids or dealing with depression is the risk that of or maybe not risks, maybe that's not the right word, but the hard strain it is on you and what's going on in your life of getting on an antidepressant and getting off of it to get pregnant and then nursing and everything like that. And that's a long span. That's 9 months of being pregnant and another year of nursing. And so take into account what you think you can handle and having a good support system. But also, it's been really good for me to realize that I need to be open enough talking about my depression with people around me, so that way if I ever do feel scared, if I'm not on depression or not on antidepressants, even when I'm not pregnant, like right now I've just gotten off of my medication, enough people around me know that this is something that I struggle with now, that if I ever am having a bad day, that I just can't handle things and I need someone to take my kids, I know that I can reach out. And even if people aren't here and it's not a constant subject, I now am to the point where I can be like, okay, I have people that I can lean on, and So it really is, it has been helpful to open up about that, even though it's been really hard to. The other thing that kind of hit my attention was during the first trimester, during which the baby's organs are formed, oftentimes healthcare providers will restart treatment during the second trimester when there is less risk to the fetus. So that just means that you could be on a medication and then during the first trimester not take it. So for 3 months, not take the antidepressant just while the baby's organs are forming. Um, that's during the time where the baby could potentially become addicted to whatever you're intaking, or cause, the way I understand it, just cause more of a, I want to say biological, but I know that's not the term, but basically more health problems that could arise. But again, it's very minuscule with most of, especially the first handful of medications that the doctor will try. It's not very risky for the babies, from what my doctor was telling me. Um, the other thing that I also wanted to stress is it says never to stop an antidepressant without consulting your doctor. Um, my first go around with antidepressants, and this was up in Logan when we lived there, and I was so frustrated with my doctor at the time and just the situation that I just stopped cold turkey with my medication. And luckily for me, I didn't have, like, it wasn't bad. I didn't have anything go wrong, and I don't know how that happened, because getting off of this medication, it has been a roller coaster, and it's made me realize just how important it is. Again, maybe you could go off of it just fine, but the risks and what your body's going through is way higher. So just consult with your doctor before going off of it. And I was kind of feeling overwhelmed by doing that because I didn't want my doctor to say no. I don't like confrontation, and I wanted him to realize that I needed a break for a little bit before we started another one. And so I was really glad that my doctor agreed that we should just start with a clean slate. But we've went down to half pill, then quarter pills, and during different durations of time. And so that's something that I've come to really appreciate, is talk to your doctor about that. And for now, that's all the things that were on my mind about depression with pregnancies. But just the thing that's been more hopeful to me is realizing that you can be a good mom and more emotionally, mentally there for your kids with different helps out there. And it's not going, we have these things out there to help us, and even during pregnancies there are things that can help. So the way that I cope with things, and I just feel like I must be a bad person if I have to take anything, especially while being pregnant. But really, it's talk with your doctor. There is answers out there, and there are things you can take, and there are things you can do to help. So good luck.